We'll call the meeting to order here with a determination of quorum. Councilor Baumgartner. Here. Evers. Here. Ferguson is absent. I'm here. Mr. Howard. Here. We do have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order. Right now, we'll suspend the regular meeting portion and open up the public forum. This is the time where the public is welcome to engage council on any issues impacting them or the community. We ask that if you are going to speak for the public forum, that you please state your name and for the meeting record. So if anybody is here to address the public, now is your time. Not seeing any action in here or out on the internet, so we will close down the public forum, move forward with setting of the agenda. We've received the agenda on Thursday and a couple updates here over the weekend. All had time to take a look at it. If anybody has any business to add or wants to take any consent agenda items out for discussion, now's the time.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second motion.
Motion's been made by Evers, seconded by Baumgartner to approve the agenda. Any further discussion?
Discussion as far as the updating the clothing allowance, and if we can put that into discussion.
Okay,
Item G.
So I think the best procedure to do is to not set the agenda and for you to make a motion to.
I can amend my motion to.
Okay.
Move item. What is it? G down to discussion business items, make it F.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by. Okay. Motion to amend the agenda by moving consent item G into discussion item F. Was made by Evers and seconded by Howard. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor of that amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Amendment carries. Move back to the setting of the agenda. That sound good?
Well.
Move forward with the consent agenda.
Okay.
Agenda set.
All right, now, we'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda with G removed.
So moved. Second.
Motions are made by Howard, seconded by Baumgartner to approve the consent agenda with item G removed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Consent agenda carries as amended. Moving down to discussion items. Right, so we have been talking about a conditional use permit out at that Chrysler area out there. We've had to make some adjustments and move forward with this conditional use permit strategy in order to get that car dealership to actually fit into our zoning codes. And Elizabeth can inform us further on that.
Happy to do so. So the present zoning in this area is I1, which is light industry district. The proposed conditional use is an open sales lot and motor vehicle body shop for an automotive dealership with a service center. The city owns this property, which is why the city is here as a landowner applying for this permit. The planning commission had reviewed the permit at their December meeting and went through the findings of fact, which is included in your packet and included in the following resolution. The planning commission found the continued operation of the retail automobile dealership and open sales lot will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare, and they recommended that the city council approve the permit.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments for staff? What we're gonna do is close down the. Okay.
As of right now, we own the property.
Correct.
We're in the process of selling this property.
Yes.
Will this change anything as far as zoning once we sell the property? Will they have to
No.
resubmit?
No, the conditional use permit sticks with the property.
So
It will be
it'll
registered at the county, it stays with the parcel ID and the property, the dealership will not need to apply for a second conditional use permit, it runs with the land.
And now,
we had discussed this before, but I'm kind of like it to be brought here for discussion. There was the planning commission is okay with this. Are they aware of the fact that they want to vacate that road? And how is that going to affect decisions?
So-
Is it a yay or a nay?
So the planning commission, it was brought up that that is part of something that's being hashed out with the purchase agreement. Pam has an update for that. So the power to vacate lies with the city council. So it would be up to the city council to vacate, not at the planning commission level. So the planning commission was solely reviewing the conditional use of that parcel as it stands today, because they cannot predict or weigh in on what may or may not happen in the future. So again, they've heard about it, but they can't make their current decisions based on something that may or may not happen. So that's why they approved the permit. And the power to vacate stays with you.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Sure, yes.
Mr. Mayor, Council Elizabeth's right, and also, a conditional use permit is regarding the use of the land that's allowed or not allowed. And that has nothing to do with where a location of a public road would or would not be. On the property, I do have an update later with respect to the actual purchase agreement. And the conversations that have been happening, but the fact of the matter is that the city has been allowing this business to operate as a car dealership without a permit for quite a while now. And what we're doing today and tonight should have happened a long time ago.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Any other questions or comments for staff? What we'll do here is now open up the public comment portion of the public hearing for the conditional use permit. So if anybody from the public wishes to address council on this conditional use permit, now is your time. We would ask that you state your name for the record. Not seeing anybody here looking to discuss the conditional use permit from the public, so we will close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. We'll reopen the regular meeting with discussion item B, which is a resolution 11, granting the conditional use permit for the city in the I-1 district. This is for the car sales lot.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-11.
Second.
Motion's been made by Ever, seconded by Howard to approve resolution 11. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Resolution 11 carries. Okay, we're gonna move down to discussion item C. Christie, I would invite you to sit in the hot seat, please. Or should it be Oz?
No, you can.
Okay. Okay, so,
Mr. Mayor,
yeah,
are we able to wait about a minute?
absolutely.
Okay. I just got an update.
Very good.
Are we coming back from Mexico?
Yes, he's coming back from Mexico for this. He caught the shark and decided to go straight back.
Oh,
On
I hate this.
On a
I
pretty
hope
good.
you know that. Both their emotions.
Why?
Oh,
Isn't it better than the alternative that you're presenting? Really gonna have any right?
you guys want to move on to the next one?
That's gonna take a little bit longer.
Or? Okay.
It doesn't have to be. It just went that fast.
We would have had to adjust it way back at the agenda approval.
That's true, that's
Quick,
true.
quick.
That's true.
You can take a brief moment.
So we prepped all afternoon for nothing.
Well,
Not for nothing, it's we talked.
Okay.
in all fairness, Christie, that was supposed to be on here too, but they thought that that was all part of the ruse, which was actually supposed to be both of them. So we had to prep for it eventually.
For February.
For February now. I think maybe more work than what about that.
I thought for sure Craig was getting recognized for something.
You probably was there too. We should find something for you. It's okay.
Craig's gonna tell us what the phone names are gonna be.
Christie, I usually bring
Put those on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, you do. It's true.
You should have a contest.
Did you send that out, Dave? No.
Wouldn't that be great?
I think it
So
goes-
we have submissions, and now we're going through them to whittle them down to people.
Oh, and she said nobody voted for Landon Plowder.
No, we submitted it, we finally submitted, you like it.
I actually seen the plow bear in the truck today, it was supposed to have it in February.
Aww. You guys miss me already?
All right, Mr. Mayor, we are now ready to proceed, sir.
Thank you, do you want to give a brief overview about the item?
I don't know what you have prepared, yes.
How about you read your remarks?
Okay, so,
We did.
annually, there's an organization called the Minnesota South Central Investors Coalition. And they investigated, what I say?
Investors.
Investigators Coalition, and annually, they have an award for outstanding non-licensed, non-sworn personnel. And somebody submitted an application on your behalf, and I'll read this. It'll sound a lot less stammery than what I'm trying to do right now. On behalf of the Minnesota South Central Investors Coalition, I am proud to announce that this year's recipient for Law Enforcement Professional Service Award is Christy Wiedemann. This award is presented to a non-sworn law enforcement professional that has provided extraordinary service in one or more instances to law enforcement agencies and those they assist. This award honors a professional's actions that exceed normal expectations. Christy has displayed the highest quality of leadership and excellence in her field and is a major contributor to the Olivia Police Department's day-to-day operations. Christy began working with the Olivia Police Department after a need was identified for a non-sworn employee to assist the department. By bringing Christy on board, officers were able to spend more time directly working with law enforcement tasks and not on daily administrative duties. Christy brought new ideas, processes, and procedures to the department that improved accuracy and efficiency for everything from evidence processing and auditing to training, record monitoring, and caseload management. She is always willing to assist whenever is needed. She is constantly pushing the department to do their best. Is that true?
Very much so.
And we are immensely grateful for her unselfish efforts and dedication to the Olivia Police Department. Additionally, I do want to add that if we could have given you 1,000 of these awards the year that you jumped into the position, we would have. At that time, our police force was having some personnel issues, and we were really struggling to cover shifts. And Christy's presence in the office allowed the citizens of Olivia to have a more safer police presence out on the road. She took a lot of those administrative hours off of the actual officers, and that put them on the road doing what we need them to do. And the community thanks you, and the community owes you a big debt of gratitude. And the Investigators Coalition is going to present you with this nice trophy.
Thank you.
Now, Christie, we are aware there's a typo in there. That was not the chief's fault.
Oh,
They're
Weirman.
They're gonna correct that for you. But we thought you might display that proud too. Really want to add that I don't think the Olivia Police Department would be here today at all if it wasn't for Christie helping through those rough times. I truly don't think we could have made it. I don't think we would have had the time to work on transitioning to training new staff and correcting everything that needed to happen. Everything kind of snowballed and happened at once, and without her in that role, I don't think we would be here today. Thank you.
So I'm glad you're all here.
I just said your dad was just bored.
I'm like, I'm here and crying.
Hey, Christie, now's your time for your speech.
Thank you, everybody. And you guys might want to change my name tag to Christy Wiederman. Thank you.
We're blessed to have you on the
Oh,
team.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You,
Don't feel pressure to stay for the rest of the meeting if you guys would like to leave.
Yeah.
Well, maybe stay for Craig's for you.
Talking about
Yeah,
a truck.
thank you. guys.
Greg, let's hear about the truck, man.
Hey, thank you.
Alright, so, now you see my name.
Thank you, officers and family.
So I am here to present to you that with my job, duties, I have to update trucking on equipment. Because the city goes out, you're filling up the CIP, right? Goes out money every year for us to keep our stuff updated. And I just kind of want to go through a few things with you guys. The pickup that I purchased is actually a 2024. Which comes into play at $51,271, which the city actually had $58,000 in CIP for this pickup. But with this pickup's actually a year past due, it should have been replaced already last year. They generally try to replace these things every 15 years. So with that being said, instead of spending all the $58,000 that was in the CIP, I wanted to spend, I want to leave at least $5,000 in there for the next pickup. That would be replaced in which we have 2014, so we're looking at 2029 for the next replacement. So I kept enough in there to help the process going with the amount of money they're putting in there to keep basically the rotation in place as it is right now. I think it's a good time to buy it because the state bid, if you look at the state bid, is like $12,000 more. It's a leap year into a pickup, but I mean, for apples to apples, outside of that, it's the exact same thing. And had we had to buy that one, we would have had enough money in our CIP fund to purchase that. So with the one that we are potentially gonna buy, we still have money left over in the future for the next one.
You get a lot more on the trade-in too.
Yeah, so we got 17,000 from the Chrysler Center versus 13.
Yeah.
And the truck bed was more reasonable with buying it from the sale for building versus buying it somewhere in the city. That was 20,000 in the cities and 13,000 in rent. So,
yeah.
And if you guys move along forward with this truck, we can have it in probably 3 to 4 weeks. So.
And we did spend all that time modeling
Yes.
the graphs on how this affects, and so I don't know, Howard, if you are familiar with that.
Yeah, I've been following this pretty closely.
And like when I did these quotes too, when you go and do a state bid, they're giving you free pricing. So it's supposed to be cheaper, but it's not that cheaper. I mean, you look at long term, from them to your own dealership here in town. There was a $1,200 difference, but the difference was that the one here in town was a year older. So had we went with the year older, it would have been around the same money, state bid versus our local guy.
Yeah, much better trading,
Yes.
so no, I appreciate that. That makes me feel like being responsible.
Yeah, I mean, I could have spent that money if I, wanted to, because I could have did probably the same skill evaluation if I had put them. Not having much left over, but I want to make sure there was enough in there for the future purchases to have.
We'll see money for the next thing around.
Yeah, and potentially, I'm not sure if it's gonna work, I'm gonna look back at what we use that 3/4 ton for, which is the next one to be replaced. We may be able to get into a 1/2 ton, because if we're not using it for a lot of heavy duty use, we could potentially save money by purchasing a 1/2 ton, it's gonna be about 3/4 ton instead.
Okay.
So I'll pencil out and see the pros and cons, one over the other and see if we can work. So,
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Craig. Anybody want to move on it?
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the public works truck.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made by Evers, seconded by Baumgartner to move forward with the purchase of and sale of should say the replacement of a public works dump truck through Olivia Chrysler. That sum up the. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Craig.
There's some HVAC issues at Olivia Place.
Yeah, so Jonathan Borski, who's VP of the Olivia Chrysler Center, reached out to me late last week. Letting me know that the heater is on its last leg / going out at the Chrysler Center. He's proposing that the following language be added to the purchase agreement, which is that we acknowledge and agree the HVAC unit in the building requires replacement prior to closing. Prior to closing, the buyer agrees to replace the HVAC unit, and at closing, seller agrees to reimburse buyer for 50% of the cost of such replacement. I let him know that since he had obtained a quote, $11,933, even if you had split that 50-50, that's above my authority, it would have to go to council. So I'm bringing it to you all. I do believe the HVAC unit is old, it's breaking down, it just depends upon how the council would like to deal with this as we are nearing the finish line for this purchase agreement. Pam, do you wanna weigh in on anything else that you've discussed with Allison regarding the purchase agreement?
Yeah, thank you, city administrator. So that provision that Elizabeth just explained to you all is included in the draft of the purchase agreement. So that if we get council approval tonight would just be allowing us to be able to include that into the purchase agreement. So that we can keep moving this forward. The draft of the purchase agreement, I would say you will be seeing at your next meeting, will be worked out and would be in more final form by the next meeting. The date that they've proposed in there, because of all these different things that have arisen, is March 15th, no later than March 15th. It also anticipates the termination of the existing lease with them and the execution of a new lease between them and the city. With respect to the road, the way it's proposed, I just sent new language back to them. The most recent document I had gotten was late Friday evening. It was again requesting that if there is a development of this parcel by them, then that the council would be vacating the road at that time, contingent on finding a mutually agreeable location. I had indicated that that this council can't agree to a vacation because there has to be a hearing first and a decision. And in particular, especially, this council couldn't bind a future council's decision on a vacation. So I proposed language back that that upon development, receiving a site plan for a development, that the council would initiate vacation proceedings. That is something that this council can agree to. And then that does not give any promises that an actual vacation would be approved by a future council, but it does agree that this council or any future council would initiate vacation proceedings subject to the notice and hearing requirements and having the hearing, and then also put in their language contingent on the relocation of a public road. That would have to happen as well. So that's what we're proposing back to them, and I'm waiting to hear from them.
Again, the council would only consider vacation if they come to us with a site plan development in hand saying, we want to do this. This is how it impacts that.
Meaning that they would pay for it.
They would pay for, like, we can discuss at that time, they're paying for it, all those different things. You can see if the vacation, one of the thresholds is, does it suit the public good? You can see their site plan for investing into the community, expanding their operations. To be honest, they've been telling us that they're gonna be expanding their operations for the past 5 years, so they haven't indicated any type of timeline. But it seems to be a good middle ground compromise here, that if they are coming forward with a new multi-million-dollar development, the council would consider that.
Yeah. When I looked there too, and I think there is enough flat land to put the road on the far side of the.
That side,
On the east
east
side.
side, okay,
Yeah, but the good thing is that at this point, that's not even a question that's necessarily in front of us.
Right.
Yeah, and so that would be something that would be worked out when there was a plan put in front of us to consider, and then the council could initiate vacation proceedings, which it requires a public hearing, and the public could have input into what they're seeing as far as from that site plan. So those are key pieces under our state law.
That does seem like a good compromise way forward right here, right now.
So again, I'm hopeful that we will be seeing a finalized version of this along with the drafts of the lease by next council meeting.
But it's what do you all think about the
HVAC.
HVAC?
Is the HVAC in the electrical side of the building, or is it in the Chrysler side?
It's in the Chrysler side of the building.
And then so they're kind of looking at it like we're landlords and should be responsible for fixing some of the stuff up. Do we have any like as is language in the purchase agreement?
We do, but that would be obviously after closing.
And they're saying it won't last until closing.
Are there any other surprises we can anticipate like this? I mean, feels a little bit like a last kind of like get a little something else.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are we gonna try for a roof, or are we gonna try to pave the parking lot? What's next?
Well, there's nothing else that's been presented, and I have the draft in front of me. And we pushed back only to, so I got it late Friday. We pushed back today on that language about the vacation. Elizabeth and I had the conversation about the HVAC. And so that is something too that we could have the conversations about. I'm just gonna look up how, the way it's written is that, the HVAC unit will be replaced prior to closing. This is a document that's executed, at closing, before closing, so prior to closing, to replace that at 50%. So.
That's about $5,500, is that right?
Yeah, they're let's say 6.
They have in here their cost as 11,933.
Was there anything in there that they had, this is from Chapel Central, did Chapel Central have any comments on the current HVAC unit? Does it actually need to be replaced?
I can follow up with Chapel Central
Is-
if you'd like me. I believe the quote they sent was directly from Chapel Central.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
or we
that's
need to have somebody, I think we need to have somebody go out there and look at it,
Okay.
honestly, because. I'm not calling them liars or anything like that, but it does seem a little wonky that they're waiting until the last minute to get it replaced, and. I think it's just good due diligence to,
Okay.
it's ours, we're gonna have to pay for even 50% of it, it's still.
And then sticking with what we're trying to do too is get multiple quotes for things.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to see another quote, at
Okay.
least one more,
Okay.
2 ideally if it's possible. So I'm not saying no at this point, I don't want the whole thing to blow up over this, but
Okay.
Just wanna exercise a little bit of caution.
The talking points.
I can reach out to Northern Services tomorrow to see if they'd go and take a look at it to get their opinion. To be honest, Chapel and Northern are probably the 2 that we would use as quotes and information based off of each other for these types of projects. I don't know if I'll find a third, but I can try.
Try Rumstuff Heating.
Rumstuff Heating? Okay.
New income.
Okay, the staff feel like they have enough direction on that.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, we'll move down to the updated clothing allowance and safety wear policy, item F.
So this is an update of the city's 2018 clothing policy. Prior to 2018, really in 2014, the city started tracking these types of purchases. And then before that, city staff would kind of just charge it on city accounts at various stores. We don't have a good record of how that may or may not have been reimbursed or paid for. So the current policy being proposed, it doesn't update any of the initial amounts that were in the 2018 policy. What we're focused on updating in this policy is really the embroidery policy. So we've been utilizing the previous policy talked about how we would cover embroidery costs, just blanket cover embroidery costs. And we're now imposing no, you need to get embroidery done through our approved vendors. We can cover your embroidery costs up to your set amount. So it's not like you can buy $150 worth of clothing, plus then the city will pay to get all of those embroidered for you. It will be, you can buy the clothing plus the embroidery up to that certain amount. And then if they do it through the approved venue, right now the city is using Rambo to place clothes orders that come already embroidered, so that's an all-encompassing cost. But if somebody wants to go out and buy their own, again, we will reimburse their clothing costs plus that embroidery expense up to that dollar amount.
Is embroidery required?
It's to have a city logo on it, yep, so that everybody's identifiable to the public. A lot of all city staff, be there in city hall or out on the street, are very identifiable to the public. We're very public facing in our roles. And so this helps cover those costs for that type of outreach, promotion, professional appearance.
How much was it increased?
It wasn't increased at all. The sole update to this policy was about embroidery.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is though, we don't have a policy per se, a uniform policy at the office, correct?
We have a dress code policy.
Okay.
So our dress code policy in our personnel handbook is business casual or City of Olivia attire. In the dress code policy for our personnel.
Okay, but
City Hall staff is not required to wear high vis material, if that's what you're getting at, like the other departments.
well, and I see the reasoning behind the numbers and whatnot that we have for public works staff and for our wastewater staff and whatnot. I understand that. The question that I have and the question that has been posed to me is why are we paying $150 a year or $200 a year to city hall staff for them to refurbish their wardrobe that they use to go to church on Sunday, to go to their kids' basketball game, to just live life when they're wearing it's not that somebody's walking in off the street and it's a City of Olivia shirt that they've got on that they're recognizing. That's the question.
So
They don't have a uniform that they're wearing in there, whether it be a collared shirt or a long sleeve shirt or whatever the case is, that is embroidered with this. And if it's something that we're looking for visibility, then we would have to reconsider what that policy is there. Or if it's visibility at an event, the cost would be much less if for said event, shirts or whatnot were purchased for a one-time shot through Rambo and whatnot like that. It would be a considerable less cost for an event shirt to be purchased by City Hall than to put out $150 times 5 or 6 members of the staff to replenish their personal wardrobe.
So it's not necessarily replenishing their personal wardrobe, like they're purchasing these items to wear in the office. So they wear them in the office, they wear them at conferences, they wear them as we do more and more community engagement opportunities to give them that option. I think if we were to buy one t-shirt for City Hall staff to wear for every single event, well, what happens when you're doing an event in December versus July? What happens if it's indoors or so this gives them that flexibility. It's also more equitable, if you're providing clothing wardrobes for some departments but not others, that it's an equitable policy this way. Obviously, those amounts are less. It just, it really fosters the fact that we're out there with the city brand, the pride of the city to promote all of our different city events and activities. Again, the amounts did not get updated from 2018. We're updating this policy to indeed be responsible to make sure that we're not incurring additional costs through embroidery through different vendors and things like that.
Another thing we can look at too is kind of the professionalism that this could help us, maintain a level of professionalism in the office. If somebody, I don't think any current staff would, but would start looking rather unkempt or whatever with their clothing and have some wardrobe bad decisions. They can't say, well, we don't get any allowance for clothing.
And everything here is embroidered with the city's logo, right? We're not just buying a shirt, a polo shirt for somebody to just wear in their outdoors. Every piece of clothing that's purchased through this policy has the city logo and branding on it. It's not an option to buy something through this policy and then not get it embroidered. It always has the city logo on it if it's being purchased. Did that clarify the concern?
That does, that
Okay.
changes what the,
Okay,
So this is just for,
city branded apparel,
okay,
yes.
because that's not clear there.
Oh, it is, I apologize for not making it clear, it is clear when we're doing the reimbursements and communicate with staff and everything like that, that this is city branded apparel.
Well, some possible changing in verbiage in there might be
Sure.
good, because that was a concern that
Okay.
more than one that saw this is concerned over the fact that we're throwing $150 at people just to be able to replenish their wardrobe, and
Gotcha,
is it?
it's it's city,
Your job
it's city
requires you to
branded
be a
apparel.
professional and look professional, then that's the expectation that you're going to wear. So that shouldn't be, you got hired under that expectation, you knew that was the expectation coming in the door.
Yeah.
Then that's what you're budgeting your personal stuff for, that you should know that. And this, the way that this can be read and interpreted is that we're giving somebody $150 a year to go and replenish their wardrobe that they're using for everything but
Gotcha,
specifically our purposes.
yeah,
And that's where the comment came in. If you're looking to have them all in a shirt, the same shirt for an event,
yeah,
then the cost would be significantly less for you to get in contact with Rambo, go through the office and grab everybody's size
yeah,
and get a polo printed for everybody.
Yeah.
At $200 or $300 versus spending $150 for 6 employees.
yeah. But no, this is all for city branded apparel.
Okay.
For staff.
Any other comment on clothing allowance and safety wear policy?
We need a motion to approve the change.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes to the. What is this clothing
Clothing
policy?
allowance and safety wear policy.
Second.
Motion's been made by Evers, seconded by Howard to approve the updated clothing allowance and safety wear policy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Moving down to reports, do we have any reports from staff?
Yes, so a city hall update for you all, floors and doors are going into the city hall office space. So the carbon floor laminate LVT flooring has been in, carpet is going installed this week. Doors are also being installed this week. This means tentatively, city staff may be moving back in at the end of next week.
Wow, stop.
Which would be very exciting. If that continues in that direction, city hall operations will be tentatively closed on Thursday next week while we do the move. Please bear with us flexibility wise, because that date obviously could change because it's construction. But that's the date that I have been told
Right, which
today.
unless they have a schedule, isn't it?
Yes, the city hall interior portion is, they will still be working on the fire and the police, but their goal was to allow city hall operations back into the building as soon as possible. Last week,
Council chambers too?
that includes the council chambers as well. Last week was really significant because we got gas and electric hooked up, which meant we could start heating the building. Because as you can imagine, a key part to move into that building would be heat. So that is my very optimistic update. So again, as we get closer, but we are lining things up to hopefully be able to move next Thursday, January 30th, City Hall staff back into that location. So that's the main update that we're excited about. I'll let people report on their committees, and any committees that were missed, I'll play cleanup, so I'll let you guys go first.
Okay.
I missed the PUC.
I'll play cleanup on PUC, but John, George, Howie, if you guys wanna report on your committees.
Okay, the CCT board met last week. They are, the rent at their current location is being raised to a point to where they are starting to perhaps consider some other options as far as where their Olivia Center of Operations will be. So that's the most Olivia centric news for that board. I don't believe I've had any other boards.
EDA,
EDA,
That's tomorrow.
yeah, but we didn't report on it, the previous EDA meeting was after the council meeting. Our first year meeting,
Discuss.
election of officers, I guess.
Yeah, we just did election.
pretty vanilla.
Yeah,
Any other committees?
park board met, but I wasn't able to attend.
So for PUC, pool, how I go for pool and then I'll do PUC.
Board, election of officers, Blanca became the chair, Greg Peppel is the VP to that, I guess. There's still a considerable amount of work that is being done there. Some of the information that was given as far as dates and whatnot are all still very fluid because they haven't done as much on the outside as what they've needed to do thus far so that they could start doing more on the inside. That's a wheels in motion kind of thing, but that was really about the only update.
So for park board, they discussed moving forward with a winter park event at the end of February. They're looking into necessary fence updates that we budgeted for and discussed. And then it was also brought up that to start exploring possibilities for the corn monument at Memorial Park. When they were up lighting it, they realized that it could use some love. So starting to explore what that might look like and who might be interested in partnering up with us on that. For PU. The PUC met and they discussed reviewing a policy for utility bill credit and reimbursement for solar panel users. They also discussed ideas to celebrate the 125th anniversary for the electric and water departments. So the city's electric and water departments were established in 1900.
Wow.
So this is the 125th year, which is very exciting. They also discussed changing the meeting time to Thursdays at 6 as opposed to Wednesdays to accommodate a commission member's schedule. Yeah, that's what I have.
All right. Under notices and communication, wanna just remind everybody of the winter warm-up event occurring on January 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. out at Max's Grill. This is a partnership between the Olivia Liquor Store, the Olivia Chamber of Commerce, and the Sons of the American Legion. It's gonna be a great fundraiser, multi-vendor, spirits, wine and beer, and I think there'll be some non-alcoholic options there as well. Tasting event. So if you're interested, you can get your tickets at the Olivia Liquor Store or online at the Olivia Liquor Store's website. If you just Google the store, I'm sure you'll come up with their webpage real fast. So that is the information on the winter warm-up. And with no other business in front of us, I would encourage a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made by Baumgartner and seconded by Evers to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.